Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're having a great day and that you are all doing well. To start things off, it appears that there are plans by software giant Microsoft to acquire popular software repository platform GitHub. Rumors have been in the air for quite some time now on the intentions by Microsoft to seal the deal with respect to buy GitHub this year. Credible sources indicate that the deal could be announced as early as today. This was on Monday. This act by the software giant would be a move described by many as going back to the roots of how Microsoft started in the first place. Bill Gates and Paul Allen co-founded Microsoft with the aim of developing software products for personal computers to give hobbyists an avenue for seamlessly programming their own products. The company has since grown to feature video game consoles, etc. Yeah, you guys know what they already have. The current CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, has been actively involved in courting coders and initiating coding initiatives since taking the helm at the company in 2014. By acquiring GitHub, Microsoft will have access to over 27 million software developers, many of whom are not thrilled by the acquisition, for it might hinder decentralization of code, which is one of the chief reasons that the platform thrives. Most, if not all, blockchain projects use the platform to upload its code. This in turn means that any disgruntled blockchain coders might find an alternative to GitHub if the acquisition follows through. There are a lot of people who are not happy at all with the possible acquisition. Because essentially the rumor has it that if Microsoft buys GitHub, the place where all these developers and all these other cryptocurrency people have their code, that Microsoft will then in turn be the owners of this code and will be able to not control it, but they'll have dominance over it being on their website. A lot of when this news dropped yesterday, there was a couple of other websites who were also reporting on it because it's very big news. One, it's Microsoft, and the GitHub is the place where every single time a project or crypto project is launching, they put their information on it. I've said this many times before in other videos. You know, this information is available on GitHub. This is the go-to place. A lot of Bitcoin developers and other developers for other projects have alerted other developers and told them to take off their code from GitHub and to start putting it on other websites. I don't know the exact other websites. I'm sure you can find something on Google if you Google around. But this appears to be a major issue for a lot of developers because they don't want a major company controlling something in the cryptocurrency space, which I've said before is probably going to happen. Simply because a lot of people who are in the space, not even just me and you listening to this, it comes down to, you know, other like the developers and stuff like that. These aren't very rich people. These are people who often, you know, sit in a flat somewhere with 5 or 6 maybe other people as they write code and then they upload it to GitHub. But when you have a multi-billion-dollar company who then controls the code that you put onto the website, this could pose a potential problem. But I'm sure, or rather I assume as time goes on, that other websites will start to blossom where people can put their codes on, and this will become more prominent. Because as we go forward into the cryptocurrency space and as prices are still expected to continue to rise and all the institutional investors begin to get in, major companies are going to start buying everything that we know or that have known over the last couple of years in cryptocurrencies, because institutional investors want a major name behind something before they end up touching it. But yeah, this is kind of the Black Mirror news for today, if you want to call it that. Next up, this is a funny photo. Steve Wozniak is once again in the news. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak said that only Bitcoin is pure digital gold in an interview on June 4th. Reaffirming his belief in the cryptocurrency despite having sold most of his holdings. Speaking to CNBC at the ongoing Money 2020 conference in Amsterdam, the veteran developer said he bought into comments from Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey about Bitcoin becoming the single currency of both the internet and the world. Dorsey spoke at 2 events in March and May where he predicted that Bitcoin would become the international currency of choice by 2028. We've had a lot of people who have said that Bitcoin will be the world currency by 2020. I think this was McAfee. Other people said by 2021, and this guy said 2028. So somewhere along the 2020s, I think things are going to get very interesting, especially if all these predictions come true. Even that other thing I told you guys to read before about, what was it, Bitcoin Traveler or something like that, Bitcoin Time Traveler. I think he noted 2030 as his time frame for the world being taken over by Bitcoin. He said, I buy into what Jack Dorsey says, not that I necessarily believe it's going to happen, but because I want it to be that way. That is so pure thinking. Wozniak reiterated that he is not an investor, having originally purchased Bitcoin at $700 to experiment with its uses as a means of payment. He said, I have 1 Bitcoin and 2 Ether. Wow, that's amazing. He told CNBC, nonetheless, for Wozniak, Bitcoin represents a separate class of crypto assets to all others. He said, only Bitcoin is pure digital gold, and I totally buy into that. All the others tend to give up some of the aspects of Bitcoin, for example, being totally decentralized and having no central control. That's the first one they have to give up to try to become a business model. Like I said, always interesting to hear people who are really into tech, or some of the first people who are like heavily into tech, talk about Bitcoin and where they think it could possibly go, or where they kind of want it to be in the future. I'm still not 100% convinced that it will be Bitcoin at the number 1 helm and not even Ripple. I know you guys know that I love Ripple, but I don't know what coin will eventually be number 1. It could be something potentially completely different in around 4 years. We could have some other 4.0 coin that ends up coming out and taking the spotlight. A lot of people still believe that Bitcoin will never be dethroned and will always be the head of the market and eventually actually be the chosen currency of the world in just around 10 years, if you can believe it. Next up. Okay, so I am all for constructive criticism when it comes to cryptocurrencies, but the last 2 days, the last 48 hours, I want to say 72 hours have kind of gotten on my nerves, and I will tell you why. Believe me, I will tell you why. 10 addresses are currently in possession of almost half of all tokens distributed in the year-long EOS initial coin offering. The fundraising event sold a total of 1 billion EOS tokens while raising a staggering sum of $4 billion. Nearly 50%, 49.67% of all EOS tokens are currently distributed among just 10 wallets, according to a report from Trustnodes. Block One, the company behind the EOS project, holds 100 million of the entire amount. At the time of this writing, EOS is trading at 1442. That is a bit down because Bitcoin is down. While it's hard to identify the owners of the remaining top 9 addresses, their volumes are entirely public. One of the addresses holds 75 million tokens, which roughly translate to around $1 billion. The amount of tokens held by the other top 10 addresses varies, with one of them holding 20.6 million. Another holding 13.5 million. It also bears mentioning, I'm glad they put this in, that the 10 entries or individuals could conceivably be in charge of these accounts. As outlined by Trustnodes, it's highly likely that most of the addresses belonging to popular cryptocurrency exchanges such as Bitfinex, Binance, Uphold, Huobi, Bithumb, and OKEX. Over the last, like I said, 2-3 days, I have never seen so much, I hate the word FUD, but it's kind of exactly what it is, especially when it comes to the EOS project. I understand that people don't like EOS. I understand that people don't like the cryptocurrency space. There's an article somewhere, I forgot to put it in this video and I really should have. If you Google around, there's an article called, I think it's called like Cryptocurrency and Twitter, a toxic combination or something like that. It is probably one of the best things that I've read in a very long time about the cryptocurrency space. The amount of people I've seen trashing EOS, the same people who normally trash Ripple and XRP, they've suddenly moved over to EOS, talking about the personal lives of the developers, where they are, where they've been, if they've purchased drugs before, if they have had escorts before. I mean, people are digging very deep, but it kind of reaffirms my belief in EOS, because when people have nothing negative to say about the coin or the blockchain or the network, it kind of shows that they're doing something correct. So they're digging very deep to try and figure out any type of what could be falsified information about a project. When I heard that there were 10 addresses holding 50% of all the EOS tokens, my first thought was, what about the exchanges? This comes down to I don't know if it's fear mongering. I don't know what exactly people are planning or what is going through their heads. The cryptocurrency space is at a crossroads, and I sincerely believe this, that people need to get it together, stop trashing projects, unless the project, like I've said before, my firm belief is that when a project launches, give it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months after the project has come out, if around 10 to 15 developers from different coin projects start coming forward saying that this does not work, they show proof that it does not work, they say that this is the problem, this is the reason, this can be patched, this needs to be fixed, then there's probably, some sort of problem with that, with the thing going forward. All the news that we've had, especially with the bug that was found I think 5, 6, 7 days before the main launch, that was patched hours after. I feel like they're kind of just throwing anything that they can at any type of new project that ends up coming out. We've known for a very long time that 10% of all the tokens would be held by the people who created EOS. It's not just one person, it's a team of people who have created this project. That's the first thing. And then when it comes down to potentially the other 40% being held by crypto exchanges, wow, that's a huge revelation. Between all of that floating around, a lot of people are posting information about John Oliver and what he said about EOS. They're constantly posting that EOS is fake, EOS is a fraud. On top of that, once again, is the news that days after launch, the EOS blockchain still isn't live. And I laughed at this, and then I stopped myself and I said, no, this is going to be a problem because a lot of people don't understand what's going on. There's a reason why I always say, please do your own research. It is imperative to know what's going on. I've told a couple of people in the comment sections below, I usually delete when it comes to really not even harsh comments. When people bash other people and kind of have no idea what they're talking about, I like to sometimes, reply to them, give clarity, tell them exactly what's going on. A lot of people have responded. Thank you very much for letting us know. EOS, where do I even begin? It's just all a bit of madness at this point. What EOS is planning on becoming and what other cryptocurrency platforms are planning on becoming down the road are essentially trillion-dollar companies. The freeze of the entire EOS thing happened 2 days ago. It happened on the 3rd. It did not happen on the 1st. It did not happen on the 28th of last month. What they are trying to do, if you go to the website eoscountdown.com, they tell you that they used to have a counter down here. It has stopped because it is, whatever. It was taken on June 3rd. Current time is June 5th. It says that tokens on the entire thing are completely frozen because they are doing something. If you go down a little bit right here, it says more info, and it actually takes you to a website of the sequence of events that have to happen in order for them to happen. Like I said, they are trying, whether you know it or not, people who are just getting into EOS, they're trying to literally build the groundwork for a $1 trillion cryptocurrency company, whatever you want to completely call it. It does not happen in 24 hours. It does not happen in a day. I would not, if it took 2 weeks, I would be completely unbothered because of what they're trying to build. Ethereum was not built in a day. Ethereum is still being actively built. There's still being stuff put on top of it. If you read through the thing that has linked from eoscountdown.com, they tell you exactly what is going to happen in order, sequence of events, exactly how the entire thing has to go down. They have to verify all the snapshots. This is very important. They were saying they want to make sure that all the snapshot that took place, I believe on the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, they want to make sure that everyone's tokens get transferred over to the platform properly. You cannot launch something quickly because other people on the internet think you should launch something within 48 hours. If they had done this, first of all, like I said before in other videos, the people behind EOS have noted multiple times, if you have ever watched there were the block candidates. They were posting videos on YouTube and they said they had received hundreds, if not thousands of emails and threats that people were going to be actively trying to destroy the EOS blockchain. And I'm sure this is exactly what's been happening over the last 48 hours. A lot of people do not want EOS to succeed. So with them trying to build up a blockchain that was probably having DDoS attacks, they're also trying to make sure that the snapshots are correct so that everyone who has money gets their money properly transferred onto the EOS blockchain. They have to test it. This is not This is not pre-built. There were a couple of people, a lot of the other block producers who were trying to put a couple of 100 transactions on top of each other before the mainnet launched so that they can drag them over so that they had something to build off of. They have to make sure that when this happens, that other people aren't going to try and attack or destroy a huge portion of the network, because Lord forbid, should they activate this thing too early and then someone attacks it and then 40% of all tokens are completely destroyed and lost on the network. What do you think will happen to the project? We are very close to the point right now. If you read around, I believe that they are testing it, if I'm not mistaken. After that, voting has to begin on who will be the block producers of the entire network. I believe it's going to be 21 entities that are going to help continue to build the network, and these will be the people who will be the block producers. When this is all done, they're going to declare the EOS mainnet active. That's how it works. I'm going to try. I know I always say that I'm going to try, and I always horribly forget to put this in the description below, because like I always say, take the time. I know it might seem bothersome or you may not really want to do it. Take 5 minutes just to read through what you have your money in. It's very interesting to see, because eventually when you meet someone else and you tell them exactly what EOS is, when you tell them what Ripple is, when you tell them what Bitcoin is, Litecoin, Ethereum, EOS, whatever the case might be, and you know what you're talking about, you're going to seem like a genius to your friends and your family. You'll be able to help them to invest their money. There's so many people who are spreading misinformation, and it's driving me absolutely insane. Sorry if I sounded really passionate during the last couple of minutes, but it has to stop, and I don't know where the ending of the rainbow is when it comes to all of this, because so many people are so focused on trying to throw down other cryptocurrency projects. 9 months from now, none of this will matter. The 2 days it is taking them to build this entire thing, no one's going to care about it, because the mainnet will be active and EOS will be wherever it actively is. People posting old things about how much they hate EOS, about like I said, the personal lives of these people. Like, what? Go outside, like go get some air, go for a jog somewhere. It's completely unnecessary exactly what's going on. Like I said, unless other developers I'm out of breath, unless other developers have come forward and have actively said that there's something horrifically wrong with the project, please just read into it. Like I said, I used to hate a lot of other projects, and I sat down and read for an entire day, and now I understand what these projects are. Did not mean to spend so much time on this, but it needed to be said. Guys, not all of you, definitely not all of you. I see a lot of your comments, a lot of you, 95% are great, but the 5%, the toxicity, it leaks into the rest of the cryptocurrency space, and we don't need the negativity, especially when we're trying to literally not only make money, but build these things so that they're still around in 2028, so that we can all be potentially, millionaires. Whatever the case might be, let's continue on. Indonesia is in the news today. That was a nice segue, right? Indonesia's Future Exchange Supervisory Board, the BAPT, okay, a commodities market regulator under the country's Ministry of Trade, has reportedly ruled that cryptocurrencies are commodities that can be traded to the country's future exchange. According to Jakarta Post, reported on Monday, the agency's market supervision chief, Dharma Yoga, awesome name, has confirmed the decision and said the ruling came after a 4-month study period that examined the issue. According to Yoga, the agency has now signed a decree to formalize a decision, potentially clearing the way for the launch of a Bitcoin futures product in Indonesia. Meanwhile, other regulations around cryptocurrency exchanges and related taxation in the country will also be revealed by the country's central bank and its taxation agency, Yoga said. The central bank, the Bank of Indonesia, suggested last year that it would prohibit Bitcoin payments in the country, and subsequently stated it does not recognize the cryptocurrency as a legal payment method. However, it did not mention cryptocurrency exchanges at the time. I remember when this happened, and this was when this actually happened, I want to say sometime towards the end of the year. This is when everyone else was kind of, Russia had news, South Korea had news, Japan had news, had news about them banning cryptocurrencies, and Indonesia came out. And this was one of the not troublesome countries, but people were kind of wondering, this Southeast Asian cluster of countries that Amize Go is relatively prominent in, that they were going to not allow cryptocurrencies in their countries anymore, and this would be a huge blow to cryptocurrencies. But like I said, like in the article, it all comes down to taxation. I think they were 4 months. They were pretty much figuring out how to get their money. I assume they're going to also have some type of sandbox regulatory thing when they start to allow ICOs and other cryptocurrency exchanges within the country. But this is very good news. I like to hear any type of news that does not revolve around a ban, even if it comes to cryptocurrencies being traded in the country that has heavy regulations around it. That's still crypto being able to be traded. That's still other projects being able to be launched in these countries, and then potentially, you know, moving to a more favorable country later on in the long run. Next up, Google's decision to ban all Bitcoin and cryptocurrency adverts on its platform isn't going down well with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology proponents, with some believing there is more to the decision than meets the eye, just like Transformers. In March 2018, Google issued a statement announcing that cryptocurrency-focused promotional content would no longer be allowed on its platform. There was also a dip in the market that day. It was like the most ridiculous thing in the entire world. According to the statement, the ban covers adverts for ICOs, exchange platforms, wallets, etc. For stakeholders like Philip Nunn, CEO of Blackmore Group, a cryptocurrency investment firm, the ban has a tinge of hypocrisy about it. Speaking to The Independent, Nunn said, "I understand that Facebook and Google are under a lot of pressure to regulate what their users are reading, but they are still advertising gambling websites and other unethical practices," which is 100% true. If you look around at Google's ads, especially Facebook ads, I'm sure we have all seen some stuff. So the fact that they think that cryptocurrencies are worse than what's floating around there is interesting, to say the least. Google's ban follows similar prohibitions by Facebook and Twitter. Noon also believes that there may be a more underhanded reasoning behind the ban. Just like Facebook, Google is also reportedly searching blockchain-based solutions for its business, and the current ban may be an attempt to clear the playing field in preparation for its entry into the industry. I said this before. At least that's what Nunn seems to think. I think the same. He said, "I suspect the ban has been implemented to fit in with potential plans to introduce their own cryptocurrency to the market in the near future, and therefore removing other crypto adverts allows them to do it on their own terms." Where do I even begin? Like I said this before, a lot of people, one, you should be upset that Google and Facebook are talking about, free speech and free rights and stuff like that, but they end up banning cryptocurrency. I understand banning ads for ICOs, as a lot of them may be fraudulent, but for the coins that are established that have been around for 2, 3, 4 years, let the ads flow. What I said before, like I said in the beginning of this video, what's going to end up happening is all of these major players, they understand that there's money to be made, and we keep having news that the cryptocurrency market is going to be worth trillions. Whether a lot of people want to believe that or not, I keep hearing people say there's never any way the crypto is going to be worth trillions of dollars. Everyone else seems convinced. All these other major rich people, they definitely think at some point it's definitely going to happen. When you have smaller companies who are trying to get into this, you have startups who are trying to get into this, and you have Google and Facebook and Twitter who are worth billions upon billions of dollars, and they realize that they can also create their own code and their own cryptocurrencies. We had news before that Facebook was going to potentially create their own cryptocurrency that they would have on the platform. I believe it was a rumor. It's probably going to happen. So they're doing everything that they can. I'm pretty sure that it has nothing to do with... They said it was done to protect people, to make sure that people weren't fed false information. That's a lie, because we know what Facebook has been up to. We know what Google has been up to over the last couple of years. I don't know if I assume at some point they will eventually reallow crypto ads and whatever the case might be on their platforms, but I am almost certain, I want to say, let's say June 2019, we're probably going to have some type of news that if Google hasn't partnered with another cryptocurrency firm, they're going to be creating their own cryptocurrency, and we're going to have whispers that I want to say Facebook has joined up with a bank or some other type of institution to create their own cryptocurrency. Like, don't quote me on that, but I have a strong inkling, if you read around in the news, especially the cryptocurrency news, something very major is going to happen, and I'm pretty sure it's all going to fall down on the shoulders of them, like, all these bans and stuff like that, and how they wanted to create a more suitable space for the cryptocurrency world. Whatever. Okay. Next up, in the possibly one of the most interesting newses of the day. Can you say newses? I don't know. Major U.S. cryptocurrency wallet provider and exchange service Coinbase has revealed its plans to enter the Japanese crypto market. Coinbase intends to apply for a license with the country's financial regulator, the Financial Services Agency, the FSA, within the year, a process that has been mandatory for all crypto exchanges operating within the country since the amendment of Japan's Payment Services Act in April 2017. The U.S. company is said to be working together with Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, or MUFG, MUFG, on its expansion to the Japanese market. According to CT Japan, MUFG has invested over 1 billion yen in Coinbase since, that's supposed to be 2014, through Mitsubishi UFJ Bank and Mitsubishi UFJ Capital, among others. CT Japan further reports that Coinbase's Japanese trading service will focus on supporting major digital currencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll get back to this in 1 second. As Cointelegraph previously reported, Coinbase already has over 20 million customers and has to date traded 150 billion, my gosh, in digital assets on its exchange platform. In 2017, it reported 1 billion in revenue, according to figures from Recode, and reportedly valued itself at around $8 billion in acquisition deal this spring. Remember when, first of all, I have no idea where to begin. Remember when crypto space, when Coinbase said that they would be adding new coins to their platform and they would be expanding. And then we got news right now about this expansion. How much do you want to bet that when they expand, that they're not only going to be adding Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they're going to be adding at least 50 other coins to their Coinbase Japan platform? Because they're having so many issues right now in America. If you have noticed or have listened to the news that I've read over the last couple of weeks, a lot of people are leaving America because it's too difficult to open up anything in the country because of all the regulations, because of the SEC, because of the CFTC, and any other people who are trying to give rules for cryptocurrencies. We've also had news that we may properly not have any type of regulation on cryptocurrency for the next 2 years. I was listening to a podcast, and also I read a story from one of the former SEC people. She was saying, if we had regulation last year, the regulations that we have now would not be able to cover ICOs, and people would be able to run amok. The rulings that they're trying to give right now on ICOs, by next year, we may have CB ICOs, and then it won't cover ICOs anymore. They're already having an issue when it comes to airdrops, having to classify airdrops. Other countries are a lot more lenient when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I'm going to bet and put my finger on it and say that by the time that Coinbase launches in Japan, they're going to have a completely different infrastructure, and they're going to allow different types of coins that America will not have access to for quite some time unless they get their SEC security license, whatever they're trying to get. You don't move to Japan for no, random reason. I assume we're going to also have news that they may be moving to South Korea, but I'm going to say Japan may be big enough because South Korea and Japan typically can do business, very well together because they're not too far apart. When I read this, I couldn't help but laugh because even Coinbase is getting sick of what's going on in America and they're trying to move to a different country. Japan right now is dominating crypto. They are a complete monster when it comes to the cryptocurrency markets. So I'm interested to see exactly how they plan on launching, because even when we had news a couple of days ago, it had to be a week and a half by now, with Coinbase a month ago talking about they would be allowing ERC20 tokens. And then the news from a week and a half ago that they would, support ERC20 tokens on an exchange that they just bought from another country that would not be open to US investors. Think about it. There's so much stuff going on when it comes to cryptocurrencies in America. The SEC woman was talking about, she said, was very interesting to note, is she said that there's so many people who have sent them letters. And you would assume that it's like normal people saying, don't say that our coin is a security. They're getting letters and emails from lawyers saying the moment you declare our coin a security, we're going to sue the SEC. I don't know what the SEC is going to do about all of this, but I don't think it's going to work out favorably for them in a very long time. My current prediction is that the US, because of, how do I say this nicely? Because of archaic laws that they're not willing to get rid of, that they will end up becoming a space for cryptocurrencies that people do not want to enter. Europe has become very favorable. Parts of Africa are becoming very favorable. Asia is just 95% of Asia is just completely open to the idea of it. Same thing with Russia. I'm gonna assume, almost said consume. Guess I'm hungry. I'm gonna assume that at some point, lost my train of thought, but we're definitely gonna hear news that Coinbase is adding all these other coins, and they will not be allowed to American investors because of all the lawsuits and stuff that will be going on against the SEC. Going to be a very interesting time ahead for the U.S. crypto market, at least. But to be fair or optimistic, Asia is literally controlling the market. So as long as everything's going well in Asia, we should all be doing well, at least in our wallets. Alrighty, everyone. That is definitely going to do it for this video. And this isn't even all the news for today. I guess it's kind of like the middle of the week when there's like an avalanche of news. So many things are happening in the cryptocurrency space. It's very nice to hear the things that are happening, except for stuff like this. I mean, really just get it together. Hope you guys all have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's amazing. Please, as always, make sure to do your own research. It is imperative. You will not become rich off of cryptocurrencies without reading a bit about it. You at least need to know where you have your money, where you're putting your money, what wallets you have it in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you once again for all the support. And I will talk to you all soon. See you.